Today we welcome on Pittsburgh Steelers tight end, second round draft pick out of Penn State this year's past draft, Mr. Pat Freiermuth. Pat, super pumped to have you on, and thanks for joining, man.
Hey, yes, sir, no doubt. I'm pumped.
I want to start our journey or our conversation here about your career, starting where it all began, back in Merrimack, Mass, Pentucket, my hometown, your hometown. Kind of an underdog story, right? No one ever has really made it to the pros from that town. I guess just like at what point did you have your sights set on the NFL?
To be honest, I didn't really think of myself as a football player till probably my repeat sophomore year at Brooks. I thought, I was, in the beginning stage when we played lacrosse together, I thought lacrosse was my go-to. And then then transitioned into to basketball a little bit. And then kind of just went to Brooks and kind of started getting offers for football, and kind of where it took off.
Yeah. So you head off to Brooks, and then kind of the recruiting process starts to happen, right? Were you just getting like hundreds of letters, or how did that walk me through that process when Penn State or not just Penn State, but when all the colleges started to reach out to you?
Yeah, it was weird. So obviously, being an underclassman, it was kind of weird rules with the NCAA and all they have, and contact underclassmen football. I think it has to be like September 1st of their junior year or something like that, like where they can reach out to you first. And so that day, I woke up to a million missed calls from different programs and all that kind of stuff. And it was weird because I committed to Penn State before that whole thing happened, where the coaches could reach out first. So like it was kind of weird how coaches handle it. I think recruiting now is just ridiculous, and what kids do to make the coaches go through stuff. And it's coming to a place where it's just kind of weird. So I'm happy that I kind of got the process over with. So my recruiting process was kind of lame. No really fun stories. I think the weirdest story was just Ohio State coming in and talking weird about Penn State to me. And Don Brown from Michigan at the time, he came in and he talked to me for like 2 minutes, and at the end he was like, "Can I take a picture of you?" And I was like, "Okay." And so he took a picture of me, and that was kind of weird, but that was the weirdest thing that's happened.
Interesting. So now, before going to your career after Penn State, you were a multi-sport athlete. Kind of how we mentioned, you played lacrosse and whatnot. Super talented basketball player in high school. Was there ever a point where you were wanted to play college basketball, maybe do a little dual action at Penn State? That ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, I thought so. Like I said, I thought I was going to be a basketball player in college. I started AU after my sophomore year. After my sophomore year at Pittsburgh, just because I had a really good year. And I kind of saw myself as a basketball player, not a football player. And so, my dad he played at St. A's, and so he kind of told me what I needed to do, and I started doing that. And I didn't really like the whole. Basketball is just 24/7 year round, and there's no really break of just, kind of taken away from the sport of basketball. You kind of just always have to have a basketball in your hands. So I didn't really like that aspect of it. So I kind of got bored with it pretty quick. So I'm happy the whole football thing worked out.
Yeah, I think you could have went basketball too. I remember you playing up with my teams 2 years below me. It was crazy. Now I want to talk for a minute about your family, right? And so what kind of influence did they have on your career and just your development, both on and off the field as a player, right? Your dad has a scoring record at St. A's. Your mom was a field hockey coach. Big brother Tim, big time athlete. Probably some stories of him beating you up as a kid. But I would love to just hear what type of influence your family had on your career.
Yeah, man, I think obviously my family played a huge role in it. My mom and dad, raised me, to be just a good guy, and not really. I think most guys and most people around the area that know me will kind of say that I'm pretty humbled and not kind of parading around town like I'm some big shot. So I think they raised me in a right way that way. And I think honestly, it was more of my brother and his friends really just, they were never, rude to me or whatever. They always let me play with them, and always let me play up with them, and they're always good to me and taught me what to do to be successful. So yeah, it took a lot, a village, as mom says. It takes a village, and it really did.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now you go through your career at Penn State, you kill it, All-American, and now you're going through that draft process, right? Season ends, and so can you just take me back to that draft night back last April and what it was like, maybe where you were at, and kind of some of the feelings you had?
Yeah, man, that was the most stressful thing that I've ever been a part of. Coming out of college, with the whole pandemic, people were telling me, I was locked first round, blah, blah. And then, so I was thinking about when the Big Ten canceled, just calling quits and go out and train. But I stuck with it, and came later find out that I wasn't really considered a lock first round. So I think I played up to my potential my junior at Penn State, and that draft process was stressful, and you just don't know where you're going to go, and you think you're going to go somewhere, but then you hear from your agent that they're not really taking an interest in the tight end, stuff like that. So it was weird. That first day was obviously disappointing, but I kind of knew it was going to happen. That I wasn't going to draft the first day, but that second day it was just like there was a list of like 3 teams. It was like the Jets, the Jaguars, and someone else that were like pretty high on me. So there's a chance with that little section right when it started off, and then I had to wait like 8 more picks until another section of teams, like the Titans, the Colts, and the Steelers, that were really interested. So it was really stressful, but I'm happy where I ended up, and I think it's honestly the perfect fit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, dude, it was stressful for me as just like a fan of you and like knowing you. I was like, dude, where's Pat going? Where's Pat going? So I can't imagine being in your shoes.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah, and so now you're 23 years old, right? And so you're in a brand new city in Pittsburgh as an NFL player. I guess just what's that like? Because I would be out of my shoes a little bit, right? I'm like, oh, I'm in the NFL, I'm a big time guy, and just like how is the maturity gone from kind of college to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I think, college, you have that kind of outlet of kind of school and social life where you can, go out and hang out with friends, and, they just don't really, that's not your job. You're there really for a student athlete, and you're there for school and all that. But obviously in the NFL, like that's my job. So it's just, you don't really have an outlet away from football because that's where your job description is. But so it's definitely different that I don't have that outlet. But Pittsburgh's a great city, and everyone around here is so friendly, and the guys on the team have been great. Just kind of taking me under their wing and kind of showing me what to do in the process of a long season and all that. So it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now, speaking about the Steelers, do you ever have to pinch yourself and just when you're on the field and see the talent around you? I mean, your quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, right? Hall of Fame guy. So plenty of offensive talent and defensive talent as well. So you ever just have to like pinch yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, I think sometimes when everyone gets this where you're not in the mood to practice, or you're not in the mood to wake up out of bed and all that kind of stuff. I think I kind of just I just remind myself, like, dude, like, you're a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the most storied franchises in NFL history. Like, the fact that you're not wanting to go out and practice or wanting to get out of bed, it's pretty ridiculous to my mind. So obviously there's some days where I'm like, oh, I don't feel like practicing, but then I just remind myself, like, I just look around, like, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler. Life can't get much better than this. So there's definitely those moments, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And so specifically talking about the tight end position with Eric Ebron, right? He's a big time veteran in the league, been around a while. What has he been like for your development on the field as a player?
Yeah, he's been awesome. I think, he at first, it was kind of just some getting used to and some adjustment to each other and all that kind of stuff, and what we bring to the table. But I think, we've gelled really well. And I think that, throughout this year that we've, continued to improve with each other. And I think the other tight end, Zach Gentry, he's one of my good friends as well. He's come along, and I think, we've created a really good environment in our tight end room where it's not really, we get jealous of the other person, but it's more of a, we're supporting each other. We're really hoping that each other does well, because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to, make as much money as we can and feed our family. It's been awesome. He's been great.
I love that. And so now a little bit about the on the field differences from Penn State. I know we talked about off the field, but Penn State to the NFL, what has been the biggest challenge for you or adjustment on the field?
I mean, obviously the speed and the strength. I mean, everyone, I'm sure this at Colgate, everything goes up a level every sport you go to. I mean, lacrosse and same with football, like high school, you're obviously the best in your area. College, you're probably the best in your position, but in the NFL, everyone's the best of every position. So you're going against a professional athlete every single day. So it's definitely challenging. You have to bring it every single day, but I think that's just the difference. I think the biggest difference, obviously, is just how detailed everyone is, because you can't. I'm sure other guys say this in different professional sports. Like, everyone's so detailed because it's either you do what you're supposed to do or you're not there anymore. So I think that just kind of knowing that everyone knows what they're supposed to do, I think that's probably the biggest adjustment.
Yeah, it's all in the details. And so now a little off the field question. So who is the better TikToker, JuJu Smith-Schuster or Chase Claypool?
I think it's different. I think JuJu's probably a better dancer. I think that's who he is, and I think his dancing videos are hilarious. His locker's right next to mine, so I get a little taste of it. I think Chase is probably just a funnier guy. So probably Chase's TikTok game is funnier, but JuJu's probably the better dancer.
Yeah. And so, I mean, right, the world of media is ever changing for athletes right now, and they have the ability to build their own personal brands through different content platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, all that stuff. With it comes a lot of noise. Are you kind of embracing the new age of media as a younger guy, younger player, trying to get involved, or are you trying to stay away from the noise?
Yeah, so I mean, me personally, I mean, you know me too. I don't really. I'm not gonna go out there and make a TikTok and do all these dances and stuff like that. I'm trying to promote myself. That's not who I am. I think the biggest thing is just staying true to yourself. I mean, if I understand why guys that if that's who they are, then great. I think then that's how they express themselves off the field and use their social media. But me personally, I'm never gonna be that guy, and that's not just who I am. So I mean, obviously, I understand social media. I embrace it and the usage of it and my image and all that kind of stuff. But I keep it very simple and very not complex at all. Just keep it who I am.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly, right? I think it presents like social media presents an awesome opportunity for players to tell their story in like a positive way. And I think being true to who you are and like strategically navigating the space is number one most important. So yeah, I think you're spot on right there. And so a few more questions here, but just like what's your overall goal with football and your NFL career? Maybe it's to just be successful as a player on the field, maybe it's to do something beyond, but we'd love to just hear your thoughts there.
Yeah, so I have two goals. Obviously, my first goal is to be the best professional football player I can be. Obviously, within being a great teammate and all that kind of stuff, just being known as a guy who comes in every single day and works and improves every single day. And if that leads me to an All-Pro career, then great. If that leads me to a couple of Super Bowls, fantastic. But I'm just gonna focus on myself and focus on the team aspect part of it and just come in every single day and get better. That's my first goal. My second goal is I'm pretty passionate about creating a foundation and to raise awareness for inner city kids and getting them updated textbooks and resources for them to grow their education and stuff like that. I think with my parents being teachers and having their seeing their educational process and all that kind of stuff, just realizing how it's hard for teachers in inner city programs in low income areas to really teach new stuff and new information, especially in history. So just getting a foundation together that raises awareness for updating textbooks in low income areas. That's something that I'm pretty passionate about and can't wait to get moving forward and start moving forward and continue to grow throughout my career.
Yeah, I love that, man, and that's what it's all about, right? And I think again, that's the platform you have as a professional athlete. And I love to hear that you're going to hopefully take advantage of that and make a difference off the field. It's perfect. And so one thing that after your game-winning catch last week against the Browns, I've heard a few different nicknames thrown around on TV and the media. So Chris Boomer called you French Freiermuth, right? Under my take came up with Pat Air Freiermuth, which I thought was decent. I've heard Baby Gronk, but I'm giving you the chance to officially claim a nickname right here. Anything you got, or is there one that maybe hasn't stuck yet?
So everyone around the building in Pittsburgh and everyone in Pittsburgh, whenever they see me out and stuff like that, they go Muth. Whenever I catch the ball and my score touchdown in Heinz Field, the stands they yell Muth and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go Muth. I hate Baby Gronk. I mean, air frying is kind of stupid in my opinion, but I don't have a good vertical, so it's definitely not that. But I think Muth is what I'm going with, and that's what everyone calls me in Pittsburgh. So.
Muth. I've been saying Muth as well. That's what the week one when we came out to the Bills game, I was screaming Muth from the 300 up in Bills Stadium.
That's what Mr. Kuja said.
All right. So one final question here, and then we want to finish up with 10 rapid fire questions, but kind of just what's one piece of advice that you could offer to anyone, any general fan, maybe younger athlete that you've learned along your journey that could really apply to just their everyday life?
Yeah, just everyone's process is different. Everyone's upbringing is different. Everyone's kind of just ability is different. So don't ever, especially for younger athletes, don't ever look at this guy and be like, oh, I want to be just like him, or my process is going to be just like his. I think everyone's different. Everyone gets to different levels. I mean, obviously you have guys that come out of college in 3 years, guys come out in 6 years, and that 6-year guy might be better than the guy that's drafted in the first round or leaves after 30. You know what I'm saying? So everyone's process is different, and just stay true to yourself and just focus on what you need to focus on. I think that's probably the best advice I can give younger athletes.
I love it, man. Stay true to yourself. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I appreciate that. And so, yeah, I think just 10 rapid fire questions here to finish off. Maybe
Sounds good.
one word, one phrase, but we'll fly through them. So, who was your favorite athlete growing up as a kid?
Tom Brady.
Same, still is. And so, this question, I guess maybe it's the same answer, but who's your favorite athlete to watch in current day sports?
Probably Tom Brady.
Yeah, yeah. I hope one day the Steelers get to play the Bucs.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
That'd be sweet. And so, what's the best moment or favorite moment, whatever it may be, of your sports career?
My favorite moment would probably be my one-handed catch against Ohio State my freshman year. That's what kind of started everything.
I remember getting fired up about that as well. Love that. And so, what's your favorite NFL or even college? Because I know some of the college stadiums are even cooler in those atmospheres. But what's the favorite stadium you've ever played in?
Probably Iowa Stadium, Kinnick Stadium. I mean, that place is loud. It's pretty cool.
Rocks. What's your favorite music artist?
I mean, my go-to before games is probably A Boogie. So probably him. I mean, I like throwback music, so
Love it. I love it. Pre-game meal.
has to be spaghetti, regardless of the game, like time of game. So spaghetti.
Like 1:00 night game, like you're still spaghetti, spaghetti for breakfast.
Yeah.
Damn right. I thought of Mac Jones on that same diet as well recently. Favorite TV show or maybe even movie?
Favorite TV show, probably Seinfeld, all-time classic, or Family Guy. Either one.
I love Family Guy.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What is one word that best describes you?
I would say energetic.
Energetic. I like it. What is your biggest fear? Mine's snakes.
Snakes up there for me too. I would probably say spiders.
Spiders. That's a good one. It's a common one. Two more. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Mind reader.
Mind reader.
Yes.
I like that. Okay. Final question here. What is your favorite part about the morning blitz?
My favorite part of the gritty videos that y'all do. That is hilarious. Those videos have me dead.
Love that. I'm gonna have to make it out to Pittsburgh and get my shirt flying around.
Me too. Me too.
We'll use the shirt as a terrible towel instead.
That'd be hilarious. You have to.
Well, I love it, man. I appreciate you taking the time during the season to talk to us, and wish you the best of luck this season. Continue to kill it, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.